discuss some different tests that have been done to me throughout my mono twin pregnancy through my doctor. So, the first one that got done to me was mentioned, I believe, at my first OBGYN appointment, maybe my second one, I don't remember. But I think it was my first one. She mentioned it to us at that one, and then I got it done at my second appointment. And this one was basically genetics testing. So what they were gonna do is take blood samples and then like send them off, and then it'll come back with like 254, 255 different genetic things that could possibly be in your body that you could possibly give to your baby. Um, the doctor told me it was free, so at the time I didn't think much of it. So I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, I'll go ahead and do it. I can see why some people don't do it. It was brought up to me as optional, so I didn't have to. After I got it done, I did have three things come back that um, I tested positive for, and they were just simple things that your baby could possibly have it, but if the partner doesn't have it, then they won't. And it was just things like that to where after I got it done, I could see why people typically opt not to do it because it was scary. You know, these three results came back to me, these like big words I've never heard of, and I was like, wait, I have this, and now my babies are gonna have it. So it freaked me out for a few minutes, and then she messaged me when the results came through and told me that we would talk through it at our next appointment. But it was nothing that I needed to worry about, and she explained to me that one of them was something that my kids might possibly have, but my babies right now and me are fine. Just it's genetics. So I did it. I got the testing done. It made me freak out when I got the results at first. So I definitely understand, like I said, why people don't do it. So it's a personal choice. After I got mine done, we did get my boyfriend Dano's done as well. I will say they take a lot of blood for this testing. I don't want to say an outrageous number, but I feel like it was like 5, 7, or 10 tubes of blood. Um, I never had blood taken before at that level at all. So it did make me sick afterwards. I got really lightheaded and I almost passed out. So I will give that warning as well. That did happen to me, but they gave me some apple juice and then I was fine. But for this certain testing, it was through Natera. So yeah, just the one that my doctor offered. They needed a lot of blood for it, and it did make me sick. So, but once you get it done, it's your genetics. Your genetics don't change. So I'm just always going to keep the paper with me, and I'll never have to get that done again. But again, it's optional. My boyfriend Dano did it as well. He got kind of sick afterwards too. Um, but his came back, and not one single thing came back on his. They're like, it's rare to be testing for 255 items and not one thing come back. But no, he had none of them in his genetics, so I guess a great partner to have. But yeah, and then of course, I had three things come back. But when you're testing for so many hundreds of items, you're bound for things to come back. So it is what it is. I did it. It was optional. But I definitely see why people don't do it as well. Another test I've gotten done was for blood pressure. I went to a doctor's appointment a few weeks ago, and my blood pressure was really high. I will say, growing up, doctor's visits have always made me anxious, which I'm sure they do everyone. But I got tested for high blood pressure when I was younger, and they came back with the same scenario. They had me test it when I wasn't at the doctor, and I was fine. So they did call it like white coat syndrome. I mean, when you Google it, that's what it is. It's just being anxious at the doctor. So I told her that, but since I'm pregnant, my doctor just wanted to take the extra precautions. So Before I left the doctor's appointment that day, they took a sample of blood, and then they did a urine sample while I was there. But while I was there, I think they were looking for protein in my urine, but she told me there wasn't any at that moment. But they still wanted me to watch it for like 24 hours. So, in case anyone ever has to do this, what they did is they sent me home with a little thing, I don't even know what to call it, to urinate in, and then you pour it into a bottle, and that bottle stays cold, and then every time you urinate for 24 hours, you have to put it in that bottle, and then you take it back to the doctor, and then they take another sample of blood, so they're really testing what your body's doing within a 24-hour period. So I got that done, but all of my results came back normal, thankfully. So I was all good. I just have high blood pressure when I'm at the doctor. I mean, I already have a risky pregnancy, so any doctor's visit I have, I'm of course very anxious. So it made sense because I know the issue with pregnancy, of course, is preeclampsia. Um, so thankfully I wasn't with that. They didn't want to give me any blood pressure pills or anything because I wasn't showing any symptoms. They had me start monitoring my blood pressure at home because my parents had a blood pressure machine. So they just had me check it every day at home and just keep notes of it. But every day it's been normal. But if this is something that you possibly go through, getting anxious at the doctor, they may have you go through the same procedure, the urine test for 24 hours just to make sure everything's okay. But it's just a precaution for especially you and then the babies. It's a very easy process. But yeah, those are two of the tests that we've gotten done. Like I said, the genetic testing, and then when they were checking me for high blood pressure. Um, like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if any of you have gone through either of these tests. And thank you for watching another video. Again, this is Ashley with Twin Mom Journey.